And we are live. We are officially live. Hey, Stevedore 2. Yes, you are a perfectly ordinary human being, not a robot. We are live. These are our faces. These are our voices. And I'm gonna move this way. There we go. All right. I don't know. Hopefully he's hearing us or seeing us.
Yeah, Stevedore, if you can hear us, please let us know, because we've had some significant gremlins here tonight. So, yeah. But yeah, so Dan, how are you
Yes.
doing this week?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Yes, okay. Stevedore 2 does in fact see us. Okay, I need to fix that chat box. I am not good at this, people. Yet I insist on doing it.
Of the
The
things,
motto
yeah.
of my life,
So
really.
so this is actually going to be transitioning to my realm
Yes, eventually.
slowly. And the reason it didn't right now is because some stuff came
Life.
up and I had to punt. And Dan was wonderful enough to take on the responsibility yet again. So, anyways, thank you very much, Professor Dan, for
Thank you.
taking
Thank
this
you.
on. Everyone watching or watching in the future, welcome to Fandible Office Hours, where Professor myself, David, Professor Dan, and sometimes Professor Jesus take questions from you lovely students and mostly just discuss issues concerning our speciality, which is tabletop role-playing games and the difficulties therein. And Dan is what's wild right now is that I have the stream on one screen and then us on the other. So I have Dan sandwiched against Dan. So it looks like Dan and his identical but most likely evil twin from a different
Yes.
dimension, just a second behind him, trying to hack the system.
All right. I'm just tweeting
Yes.
about this whole thing so people are aware. There we go. It has been
Yeah.
tweeted.
Beautiful. So, Dan,
Yes, sir.
I read recently that Onyx Path, the people who make they came from the bottom of the sea. I believe that's the name of the game. Let me double check that. Came from beneath the sea. Yeah, it came from beneath the sea.
Yes.
Or they came from beneath the sea, excuse
Right.
me. Is an Onyx Path role-playing game that's based entirely on cheesy 1950s and 60s sci-fi horror movies. Like Creature of the Black Lagoon, them, like Horror at Party Beach, stuff like that. And so I heard that they are doing a different game that showed up on our Discord. By the way, Fandible Discord, check it out if you are not part of it. We love our Discord fans. We absolutely love our Discord.
Like the Discord is dope. Overall, it's a chill vibe in there. It's good people, interesting conversations. Can't complain.
Mm-hmm. And so they are coming out with, oh my god, I lost it. They're coming out with a new game. Oh my god, I had this. Oh, this is terrible. This is not
We
great.
are look, man. We are professionals. We are the best at this. This is what the people tune in for.
Yeah.
Our professionalism. It's really what's kept us going all this time.
It's true. It's true. And so, regardless of what they're coming out with, which I believe is a sci-fi game.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, or I was thinking about the thematic values of different role-playing games, right? So you got Vampire the Masquerade, gothic punk, this idea of gothic punk, which we can discuss the subtext of punk or the preface of punk till I'm blue in the face, but we'll skip over that. That'll be another office hours.
Yes.
But then we've got Gonzo role playing from Palladium with riffs. We've got adventure and pulp adventure with Hollow Earth Expedition.
Right.
We've got an emphasis on science fiction, far-flung science fiction fantasy with Monty Cook's Numenera, which I commend in the fact that they try to emphasize that exploration is
Yes. Exploration and discovery.
Mhm. And oh, by the way, speaking of which, Dan, I believe that you were a guest on a show for that.
I was lucky enough to guest for the second time with the lovely folks at Explorers Wanted. You can find them at explorerswanted.fm. Camera, stay with me. My camera
Are you
person
following me, cameraman?
is drunk, which is normally my job. Can we there we okay, now stay.
This is what happens when you rely on AI, man. This is what happens.
The robots are rebelling. The robots are rebelling. All right, here
Sorry,
we go.
homie.
So, yes, you can find them at explorerswanted.fm. They're a great group of people that have been doing a very long-term Numenera game, which we did. And Jesus promises us he will finish editing the final episodes any days now. But
right
yes,
around when I
got
run
to
the
be
next Shadowrun game. Yeah,
exactly. But yes, I got to guest on their game for the second time yesterday, and that episode will hopefully be up in a month or two once they get through their current set of backlogs. I have been thoroughly spoiled on their plot so far. Shit goes down. It's great. It's highly recommended. And if you want to meet the character, I'm reprising the same character as before. Just search on their website for an episode called Zack Attack, ZACC, and that's, I believe, the one that intros my character. Good times.
So we've got so Stevedore 2 says, quote, "Oh my god, I lost it. Wouldn't be a bad name for your next newsletter game."
Yes.
Yeah, that's not true. That's not wrong.
Yep.
And Stevedore also says, "The robots that are not me, to be clear." Absolutely.
Because we've got multiple robots on the stream today.
We believe you, and thank you, robots, for showing up. You know, we know that you have a busy schedule.
They're here for the AI camera mostly. They're cheering it on. They're like, "Yo, yeah, lose focus. Just show something else. Where's that cat?"
Yep. Nope. Stevedore definitely passed by the "can you pick out all of the buses in these photos?" So Stevedore is not a robot.
True.
So Dan, I was just thinking about all of the games that personify certain aspects or like certain qualities of different narratives, right? And that's a very fancy way of saying different stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the Came From Beneath the Sea. And I really, really like how it not just tries to emulate the bad stories, or sorry, I want to say good bad, right? I'm not trying to cast shade on an entire like couple decades of film that I very clearly like. I love old good bad films. I love scrappy, like underfunded sci-fi and horror films. I think that they're the goddamn best. But I was trying to think of other games that can best encapsulate very specific types of cinema that we would like to play. And of course, the absolute cornerstone of that was, in my head, Final Girl.
Ah, yes.
Yes, because Final Girl is entirely a love letter to horror movies where people die, one person survives, mostly, maybe, and it is a fantastic. I would call it like more of a party game for RPG players. It's not a serious game where you sit down and make a character. It is where everybody pitches in, and the objective is to have fun telling a weird, funny horror story. And Final Girl is really good for that.
Yeah.
Dan, can you think of any other games that might, even if they're not designed for it, can you think of like any other games where, like, if you sit down and like, I really want to tell, like, I don't know, fucking telenovela or a windswept romance, you know, like what game system would I use, even if it's not actually meant for that.
I mean, since you brought up telenovelas, there's one that comes to mind. I'm actually not 100% sure if it's fully out or if it's just kind of like been in progress forever, but there's one called Pasión de las Pasiones, which is a powered by the apocalypse, I believe, but one of those like it's mutated several generations beyond the original, but it basically is you play characters in a telenovela. And from everything I've seen, I have not had the chance to play it, but I have watched some playthroughs. I've read through some of the stuff. I've seen it played at cons, and so that one is literally designed for that. It's literally designed to emulate that sort of telenovela kind of type of characters and type of plots and type of events. One that I don't know if it was specifically designed for that or if it just kind of works that way. But to me, when you started bringing it up, I was thinking Fiasco, like,
oh yeah, God,
right? Because Fiasco's like
years.
Right, and Fiasco's a weird tabletop RPG because it's kind of like it very much straddles that middle ground in between, like your classic tabletop RPG and more of a almost like a party game. It's there on the verge, but it does a great job of capturing a very specific feel, and that which tends to be associated with certain types of movies, where like these heist movies, these the type of movies where like bad people do stuff that is fun to watch, but they will probably get a comeuppance at the end, and it's cool, kind of vibe. And boy, is it good at that.
And also, it very much enforces or encourages the yes and rule of improv. I think that I was part of improv and theater before I played Fiasco, but I think that Fiasco solidified my eagerness to tell a good story over the what I wanted my character to do, right? And so the fun part of Fiasco is it contradicts one of the founding principles of more basic role playing, like D&D and stuff like that, which is like, like the founding principle is like you want your character to survive and tell a story and keep telling the story until they stop or the game stops. Most often, the latter. The game will just end.
Yes.
And with Fiasco, it says, no, don't sweat it. Just tell a fun story. And yes, you're all mostly terrible people. And the best example is, I believe in the first book, it is a person describing like a character is walking up the stairs. They have a briefcase in their hand. And as they get to the top of the stairs, and then somebody like juts in with, and in the briefcase is the gun I'm going to use to kill myself. And it's just like this really intense moment. It's like, oh my God, that's so dark. But it's a bunch of people standing around a table being like, oh yes, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
It's a little bit like Writer's Room, the game, right?
Oh my God, it is.
And it's great for that. It's absolutely great for that.
Yeah. Bully Pulpit. If you want to sponsor one of our games, or even a Rebel radio game, and just send us a whiskey that we can then relabel as Jack Stallion for the stream, we'll do it. We will do it.
Also, viewers, if any of you happens to own a whiskey distillery, call us. We can work something out. Yep. We have a comment from our non-robot viewer, Steve or 2, mentions that, oh my God, I lost it. You start in media res, playing an adventurer that has already had the MacGuffin stolen from them by the antagonist. That actually sounds like a friggin' blast.
You're describing if we ever pick up The Strange again.
Yeah.
I want to do The Strange so bad because it's been so long, we were so inebriated for most of it. I remember so little. No, here's the thing. I want all of us to pick up The Strange again with none of us having done any research as to what happened before.
Yes.
So I want Jesus to just think up a completely new game. I want you and I want there to be an explanation why Harold and Callisto do not like remember what happened. Just go with it because it is the stupidest game we have ever run, and we have to go with that.
Yeah, no, like it's basically like, you know, we're rebooting it. This is, you know, second season, complete reboot, but also it's part of the plot. Like, but the reboot actually happened. Like, we did in fact lose our memory. We don't know what happened, where we are, whatever. I actually dig that. Oh, we have a few more. Well, hey, welcome Malvos, for joining.
Hey,
Yeah,
Malvos.
yeah, came in just as we're discussing The Strange. Dear potential sponsors,
starting board The Strange. Whiskey, I love it.
or even technically whiskey. True.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I talked over you, man. Sorry.
Oh, no. Theodore just mentioned that to any potential sponsors, it doesn't even have to be good whiskey. It doesn't even necessarily have to be technically whiskey.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, hey, we got Malvos. The reason Harold and Callisto don't remember is the same reason you don't remember. They were smashed beyond belief. That checks out.
You know what?
That checks out.
Yeah. I mean, why not though? That's the thing. Is like, if anything is open to some bullshit random interpretation, it has to be The Strange. The Strange was us blowing off steam. Think about it. Like, let's be honest about what the Strange was, right? It was taking what Fandible was every weekend, us learning systems. It was in the midst of us, if I recall correctly, it was in the midst of us playing on Hollow Metropolis, and also just beginning Rotted Capes, like these very serious games. And then we started Rebel Radio with The Strange being like, what if we just got drunk and played a completely nonsensical game that was silly, or we interpreted as silly. Just to be clear, The Strange can be played very straight,
true.
And very serious. But we didn't do that. We said, what if it was a goddamn Buster Keaton movie, right? Yeah. Like, what if it was Abbott and Costello, which is literally what we played.
Yeah.
Abbott and Costello in The Strange. And it was a huge way for us to basically just blow off steam about how serious all the other characters we were playing were.
Right.
And there's no reason why we can't pick it back up and just be like, like Malvov said, we just don't remember because maybe we got really drunk one night.
Yep.
And like, you know what? Universe, you get what you pay for. Whatever you wanted Harold and Callisto to do, it's a damn shame because they went
hire anyone else. Just really,
they went hard one night, and now they are their own independent contractors once again.
Balvos mentions, yes, first of all, so drunk that they got the universe, aka Jesus, drunk. True.
Maybe you didn't know this, but the universe didn't drink before they met me.
Also, not just true. Malvos mentions we were not just playing serious games, but rules heavy games. And so we needed something real lightweight. And in The Strange, I mean, it's basically Cypher System, which is not exactly lightweight, but we were familiar with it enough at the time. I think that because we started playing it, I think around the time we really started getting into Numenera with the long shot.
Oh yeah.
So Cypher was something we were familiar with. Yeah. I mean, all of these games, you keep saying like, yeah, these are serious games. And I just keep thinking of my characters in all those games and going, yeah, serious, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but at the same time, think about your character from Rotted.
Oh yeah, no. Like compared to The Strange, definitely. I mean, I tend to play the wacky character. I cannot help myself.
So not serious. Here's the fun thing here's what Harold and Callisto were. They didn't have an arc. Think about it. We never talked about an arc. We never talked about future plans. We never talked about their background. We don't know anything. They were the only thing above them was the bachelors from End of the World. Right. They were just things for us to play and have fun. They were extensions of our desire to have fun.
Yes.
That's it. And there's a huge liberating factor to that, especially when you involve alcohol and like, and just having a whole bunch of fun. The
Because like
yeah,
all those games up until that moment, we were like, all right, it's sure that they had their moments of levity. This is us, right? But but at the end of the day, like when we were facing some kind of terror or something, we had to face it. Like our characters were taking the world seriously, even if
yep,
we as the players did not always.
yep,
The Strange was very much like, no, we are like behind the scenes on reality, and we are genre savvy,
yep,
and we're
yep,
and we're just trying to like
yeah.
get the
The
MacGuffin and get out to
yep.
survive. We
The
don't care.
Strange winked at the cameras so hard it broke the lens.
Exactly.
It
Like
was
it was
yeah,
a game where it was. I think that was one of the first games where we just kind of like Jesus would present us with something like meant to be big and maybe dramatic and hard hitting, and we would react by going, "I kick it in the nards," and
yeah,
Jesus
yep,
would have to go, "Fucking roll it," and then we would,
yep.
and we did.
Yep, exactly. We kicked we kicked the plot in the nards, and then we went off to search for our own plot. And Jesus just like, I'm fairly sure whatever little gray hairs Jesus has, which are fucking few, you son of a bitch.
True.
Um,
We've met Jesus's family. He is going to be young forever,
yep,
and as somebody whose hair all migrated, as I've mentioned before, south for the winter of my life, real early on.
yep.
Yeah,
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 so if he has gray hairs, it's because of us and the Strange,
true,
because
true.
we took who is a consummate storyteller for very, very serious settings and said, but what if, hear us out, fuck you. And he was like, all right, well, I guess I'm in Dan's place and I can't go anywhere. So
Yep.
yeah, here we are.
It's gonna take me about an hour and a half to get home. So okay. Uh,
um,
yeah. Oh,
so
we got a few more
oh yeah.
comments since then. Let's see. Got what he paid for. He paid for drinks, as in the universe got what it paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Although he did not get nearly as many drinks as the players. This is true. Malvo's mentioning at this point, wouldn't it just be a fresh restart, aka character sheet number 25? Yeah, that's kind of what we're going for.
Yeah, we had to remake those character sheets so many times. Yeah,
Multiple times, and we
it didn't
probably will
matter.
have to do it again. I guess they're probably in those folders that are over there, those beautiful folders that we made in preparation for when we would start getting together in person a lot more often. And then I don't know, man. It's like, has
I don't
anything
know
really
what
been going
happened,
on
but
over the
yeah.
past couple of years? It's been kind of a blur.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, if and when we do, we probably will have to build them again. Doctor Laughing from the Rooftops mentions Malvos. Yes, which, by the way, still have the hood. God damn it, cameraman. Just show it. There we go. That's the one. Anyway, you can buy that hoodie, that t-shirt, and all our other stuff at the shop that we have. A link
Mm-hmm.
is on fandible.com. Find it. Spend money on us. Um,
And look
so,
good.
and look, if it can make me look damn good, it can make
Look,
you
it's
look
the
damn good.
equivalent of like having a podcast punk rock shirt, right?
For real.
Like we've been around for so long, but we're still indie as fuck. So,
I'm
you know,
gonna tell you something. Okay, I don't know if because it's been several years since I bought this hoodie,
mhm.
and I don't know if the company that makes them still uses the exact same quality, manufacturer, whatever. But I will say this: I wear this hoodie pretty much nonstop at the slightest provocation, and have been doing so since I bought it back when we first created these ten
Yep.
thousand years ago.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna say it looks new, but goddamn, it looks good. It has put
It
up
does.
with
It's held up.
yeah, it has
Yeah.
held up amazingly well. So they're not cheap, but yeah, they're comfy. It's thick. It's good. It's a hell of a hoodie.
Yep.
This is welcome to QVC with Fandible.
But
Point
wait,
is,
there's
buy.
more.
Look, man, we do podcasts, but primarily buy our hoodie. It is
No,
it's a
here's the
real
thing.
good hoodie.
I own a hoodie from one of my favorite podcasts, which is Forever Midnight, which is a horror movie podcast. And I've watched that thing so many times, and it's always great. And it's held up. But also it's kind of nice because a hoodie, for whatever reason, my partner also has a hoodie for My Favorite Murder. So when we
Yes.
go out in warmer weather, we're both repping our favorite podcasts.
Mhm.
And I think the hoodie is the perfect kind of way to rep a podcast.
It is. It
T-shirts,
is. T-shirts. Yeah.
t-shirts are great too in the hottest weather.
True.
But I feel like the hoodie is kind of the most acceptable way to say, like, I love this thing. And yeah, people respect that. Also, the bartender at our local watering hole asked me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, it's a horror podcast, but also I'm part of a podcast, and we talked about it, and I got to pimp my own podcast. So I'm
So thank you, Dave's bartender, for joining the chat.
Yeah, he's probably like, where are you? By the way, it's Saturday.
It's Saturday night. You should be here. I'm literally across the street, buddy. Come on.
Your short ass should be standing behind a line of much taller guys, waving your wallet in the air, trying to get my attention. Oh God, it's a joke, but it's true. Anyways, go on, Dan.
No, we've got a couple of comments. Catch up real quick. Mavo's mentioning that they've always wanted to see a game of The Strange ran straight, just because it's an interesting game setting wise. You know, so would Jesus. I'm sure he would love to see that too. Stephen Orr mentions they just realized that Harold and Callisto are basically cartoon characters, like old school cartoon characters, Popeye, Donald Duck, Bugs Bunny, and the like. They don't really have backgrounds so much as just personalities that are inserted into different situations.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's true.
Malvo's saying that the t-shirts are good too. That is a fact. I actually own a couple of t-shirts as well. They are actually very solid. Point is, yeah, look, apparently we chose a good vendor for our shit.
Yeah, true. I own a couple of the Saints of Suffering shirts, and they are still.
I love those. I keep okay. You know what? Remind me after this. I keep meaning like I gotta buy some Saints of Suffering shirt, and then I forget. And I get them at cost. It's not like I have, but point is, like, yeah, like, look, we don't have a lot of swag, but we have it. It's good. It's good swag. We should have more swag. We keep saying like next t-shirt, and then we never actually make them. Steve R2 mentioning, and I'm going to bring this one up because he's hyping me up, that if it makes Dan look good, it'll make us look good. I doubt that. Everything makes Dan look good. They can't, however, pull off cat ears and a fedora nearly as well as I can. I mean, few people can. It's true. Although, to be fair, I have not owned a fedora in a long time. I used to, and it got lost
and then you stopped saying "milady," and
then I stopped saying "milady." Yeah, there was
disappeared.
There was a point. Weird. Yeah, there was a point there where I was like, you know, I'm not saying I don't look good in it, but oh boy.
Also, it was a trilby. It wasn't.
It was not a fedora. True, it was a trilby. That is correct.
You know, I'm one of those guys.
No. You gotta be specific about it. True, it was a trilby, not a fedora. But for the layperson, a fedora.
Yep.
You know.
So Steve Adore 2 says, I'll still buy the swag though. Thank you very much, Steve Adore 2. Please spread the word of Fandible to all your friends.
All the swag.
Even if they are not role players. Fuck it. I'll talk about wrestling or horror movies. Just bring them in. Steve Adore 2 says, because I'm not a robot. Thank you very much, Steve Adore 2. Malvo says, due to an error when ordering, I have 5 copies of the Laughing from the Rooftop shirt. Oh my goodness, Malvos. Well, you know what? I know what you're giving people for the holidays next year. At least stocking stuffers at the very, very least.
They also work great for like picking up messes and spills. You'll find a use for them.
Oh yeah, 100%. Malvos, not to my wallet.
Oh, because not a boon. Yes.
You paid 5 times for our shirts, because
I mean, if
that's true, I'm going to give you a very specific shout out in the next episode that I edit, which is going to be Shadowrun. So
we've got something coming. We've got a story apparently coming.
Oh, bring it on. And also remember to use yes and like it was Fiasco.
Yes.
Yeah, so like, okay, so not to my wallet. Oh boy. Anyways, so Dan.
Yes, sir.
So with the strange out of the way, what games or what game would you use to recreate a very specific kind of genre for a role-playing game? So I was thinking about the board game, House on Haunted Hill, which is a fantastic fucking game.
Yes.
Or Betrayal on the House on
Betrayal
Haunted
at
Hill.
House on Haunted Hill.
Yep. And so I was thinking about like what game would best represent that. And I thought, well, of course, Final Girl, but like that implies only one person lives. That's not accurate to the board game itself.
Sometimes everyone lives, sometimes one person lives, sometimes it's random.
Wait, Malvos is in with the go ahead, Dan.
It says when he was filling out the order form, had a loading error with the website, lived deep in the boonies. Instead of refreshing normally, it stacked his orders as 5 of the items he was ordering. That was like 4-ish years ago at this rate. So you've had like 5 of our shirts that you oh my god.
By the way, that's the amount of Fandible. So you've bought as many as Fandible has.
I mean, I assume yes.
Well done.
Yeah, you bought one for each of us. You built effigies and you dressed each of us as you imagine we are. And then started your own.
Why
podcast.
Is my dummy so short? I don't. Why? Why would you do that? Why does it look like a leprechaun?
But yes, I mean, on the one hand, I'm terribly sorry for that mistake. On the other hand, I mean, you're the proud owner of like I think more Fandible merchandise than anyone else on the planet.
Soon. Malvo says gonna make a quilt soon.
Yo, you make that quilt, we will like make it the background of our website or something for a while. Like,
oh, I love that. Ken Doyle, hey, what's going on?
Hey, Ken Doyle, welcome.
Ken Doyle says, I had that with graduation gowns and my with my 56K modem back in the midst of time.
Yeah, blazing fast
Ken
56K
Doyle.
speeds.
Oh, 56, 28 baud modem. Yeah. Oh God, I remember that screech as you signed on.
The delighted screech that a modem made upon encountering a kindred device. Yes.
Back when there was no stealthy way to sign on to
there
the
really
internet
wasn't. Like
to look at maybe less than appropriate photos.
Download a JPEG of a boob, and it was, and it took 15 minutes, and you wait. Oh, do you remember back when images would load line by line?
Oh, like line by line. Oh, I remember Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh yeah. Good times.
So Stevedore 2 says for playing a specific genre, it's worthwhile to mention generic systems like Fate. Oh, it's a very good point.
And as Marvels mentions it, drink every time someone recommends GURPS. Prepare for alcohol poisoning.
I've resisted. I
played GURPS once upon a time back in the hind days of just Lost in the Mist, and now GURPS is real crunchy.
It is
because it wanted to be. It wanted to be everything to everyone. Although this makes for a great segue. I gotta pimp something right now. Mm-hmm. You see, I'm looks like what happened there? 25 messages were deleted by a moderator. Stream elements timed out.
You're the
Stevedore for moderator. 300 seconds. All right. It looks like Stevedore looks. Maybe you might have sent too many messages too quick, and the bot caught you. Sorry about that. All right. No worries. They'll be back. You're not banned. Don't worry. But
unless you're a robot.
Huh? I think our robot might have. That's it. Yeah, they were betrayed by our robot. But
robot.
Yeah, right. Robot be robot combat here. But no, as I was mentioning before, I do have one thing to pimp, which is a site that I recently just started, vaguely related to Fandible in that it is also tabletop RPG, but this is my little personal blog / creative project. I will put a link on the Discord. Go to the Discord and see it. I'll put a link on the chat here just as well, so you have it. Uncivilized Games, based on my nickname Uncivilized Dan that I use on the internets, and it is basically a place where I talk about the game design that whatever I am working on at the moment. And the reason I'm bringing up this particular segue is because they mentioned GURPS, and the game that I'm currently working on is in Spirit, the Goblin Universal Role Playing System. I am basically working on a way to make a Three Goblins in a Trench Coat SRD slash Universal system with several sample concepts of alternate goblin tables and world and challenge tables and everything for you to mix and match, but also just the rules, the building blocks for which you can build your own goblins and or
if I may,
situations.
Dan,
yes, of course.
If I may, GURPS being somewhat, I'm fairly sure taken legally.
Yeah, no, I'm not using that name.
What about GURTS? Goblin Universal Role Playing Trench Coat System.
It's got a possibility. I mean, I'm still working on the name, but I do have I did recently come up with what I hope will be the tagline for games created by this, which is you know how there's Powered by the Apocalypse, Forged in the Dark, all this stuff. So I'm thinking games created with this system will be piloted by goblins. Is what I'm thinking. It's still workshopping it. Point is, you should all go to my site and read my ramblings, and if you are so inclined, there is an opportunity there for you to give me an entire dollar, and for that dollar you get everything I've ever created, which is nuts. Forged in the Trench Coat.
Oh my god, I love that. I love that so much.
That's a good one. That is a good one. But yes, point is, I had to rep the. I'm just gonna put the.
I'm just gonna write that in my notes.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that in my notes. Stealing it is mine now.
A great creator steal.
Yep. Exactly. Let's make sure that's in fact. Yeah, there we go. That is in fact the address. So I'm just gonna post it in there for all of you. Well, okay, there we go. The bot lets me post links. The rest of y'all, however, less so. But yes, y'all can go to that and read about my game design philosophy, which I will give you a spoiler on right now. It mostly boils down to two things. One, you are all bad people and you deserve this. And two, fun over functionality, which I believe is really the core of Three Goblins.
Yep. It makes sense. Well, it seems Malvo says stealing on the internet, unheard of. I mean, what's the old saying? Good writers borrow, great writers steal.
Yep.
Yeah. So Dan,
yes, sir.
Since we are coming up on our
unfortunately today we can't go long, as we will be recording in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and so we're going to go to 45. We're going to go to 8:45. Sorry about that, everybody. We had some serious gremlins.
Yeah. And again, weather is why we're all separate today. So,
yeah. So, name one movie that you would like to recreate in a role-playing game. Like one movie, one very specific movie with a very specific feel, and to alleviate you of the moment in the spotlight. I'm going to say Chopping Mall, one of my favorite B movies from the 80s. Chopping Mall. Ooh, our Vondis says, "Oh, hey, boss."
Where's my guy?
Our boss is on the chat. Jesus says, "Dude, where's my car for the movie?" My God, what would that system be? What would that system be? It would have to be something super like.
I mean, I'm just gonna go with the strange, honestly. Um, One
Yep.
page
There.
RPG. Says Jesus. All right,
Oh,
all right.
you've got dude and car.
You
You got
yeah,
two
two
stats.
stats, dude.
Dude and car. Oh my
Um,
god.
well, I mean, I got it. I got it. I'm gonna call. Call it back. I'm gonna throw a call back to earlier in this chat, and I'm going to say first of all the movie, a Goofy movie,
Okay, go
and
on.
the system. Once again, Pasión de las Pasiones, because I want to play that movie as a telenovela because I want to know what happened to Goofy's wife slash the mom.
All right. So taking from your idea,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm going to re-answer. I'm going to
Okay.
take back my answer because we have plenty of B movie style
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
games like straight to home video or
True, true.
VHS, straight to VHS. Mwah, great game.
Yes.
Check
Oh,
it out.
so good.
It's criminal. It might still be free. If not, pay the money. It's fantastic.
Yes, yes.
I based on what you've said, I'm gonna say, oh, is this right? Yeah, this is right. I'm gonna say a Double Dragon video game,
Ooh.
but using, and Dan, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you've played this system before. Have you ever played Toon?
Oh yes, I have. Holy shit, I
I
haven't thought
knew
of
I would
Tune.
activate some fucking synapse in that
Oh
brain.
shit, I haven't thought of
Toon.
Tune in decades, literal
I used to
decades.
own that book, and if
Yeah,
they're still in print, I will
probably not, but
run.
it's got to be
Hey,
out there somewhere.
listeners and patron donors, thank you very much. If you want to become a Patreon
Lovely.
donor, go to Fandible is it Patreon /Fandible. I will run a Toon game for Rebel Radio.
Yeah,
It's a
hell
fucking
yeah.
shit show sober. It is I cannot
man.
imagine what kind of tempest
Like
of
the game
nonsense
literally
it
has
is.
rules for being so stupid that you ignore like the laws of physics.
Yeah, of course.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
Yeah.
Classic. Yeah.
So I will run a game of Toon, and I'll tell you what, if we can get some donations for it, I don't know what the level would be. Let's say about like, I don't know, $200. We're going to stream it from here, from the recording studio, in the closest approximation of costumes for an hour. I will run a 1 hour Toon game where we are cosplaying our own characters. God fucking help us. I don't think we're like, God bless, but what do we got on the stream? What do we got on the chat, Tim?
We need to wrap up as we're hitting 45. So on that note, we got two last comments. First of all, Malvos mentions that they have the PDFs for Toons, aka just bad scans.
I am hard copy kind of storyteller.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so
it is
sorry.
that game has been out of print for ages. So who knows? But we'll see what we can find. Maybe we can find a little copy on on eBay or something. Stevedore mentions that they know the perfect system for all these genres. Street Fighter, the storytelling
oh my God,
game.
I'm gonna run it. I swear I'm gonna run it. Please stop haunting me. Please stop showing up outside of my window.
And then it's just various Hadouken sounds, really. But on that note, we need to wrap up as we will be shortly recording with the rest of the gang for a game that you will all hear in the future. We don't know. Like our recording dates have little to no relation to our air dates.
Yep.
Sometimes we will record something and it'll be what we post the very next week. Sometimes we'll record something and it will not be posted until a year later. Jesus, finish the long shot.
All right. So on behalf of Professor David and Professor Dan, and by extension, Professor Jesus in the comments.
In the chat.
Yep. Thank you very much, everybody, for showing up to this office hours. We hope we answered all of your questions concerning your papers that we assigned you, and we expect you to show up at least 5 minutes early for next class.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we won't be here 5 minutes early, but you should be.
no, because we're the professors.
Mm.
Thank you, and good night.
Good night, folks. And thank you again, as always, for joining us. And we are transitioning out. And shit, forgot to mute. Give me a second. The fuck. Ah.